What's up everyone, Adam from Cape Crawlers, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Furitek Titanium Calian chassis kit for the UTB18 Capra. So this beautiful piece of hardware is Furitek's second chassis kit that they've offered for the UTB18 Capra. The first being the Beetle, which we have here currently on our Capra. Now this chassis works amazingly well. Lots of functionality, tons of options for shock placements. It's a very performance-focused chassis. But that can kind of put off some people because you lose the scale look. It no longer looks like an actual scale crawler. You lose the drivers and the interior. You basically lose the whole scale look and you just get this custom comp crawler, which is awesome for performance, but some people really dig the scale look. I kind of go back and forth. I really like the hardcore comp style, and at times I really like the scale crawler look. But now Furitek's given us the new Calian chassis kit that utilizes the strength and rigidity and the awesome looks of this titanium setup, but retains the same dimensions and the same appearance as the stock chassis. Now the word Calian, or the name Calian, means warrior of life, so I think that's pretty appropriate for this chassis. With the precision TIG welding design and the gold titanium plates, it's a bright, attractive, and very cool looking piece of hardware. So I'm excited to check this thing out. So why don't we dive in a little closer, take a closer look at this, compare it to the stock cage, and then we'll get to transferring things over and installing it. So let's check it out. Here's the Calian kit. It's a beautiful chassis. I love how it looks. The welds are very impressive. Now this looks like something that you pick up at a scale performance garage. It just looks hardcore, ready to go. It's very light. It's very strong. Mighty impressive. Weight on this thing, according to my scales, is 169 grams, which is identical to the stock cage that I have. However, the stock cage also has the interior, it has the fuel tank in the back, so I would imagine that the Calian is going to be a little bit heavier. But even though you do gain some weight with the titanium chassis, you gain a tremendous amount of strength with this thing, and the cool factor is just off the charts. So looking at this again, you can see that we retain virtually everything from the stock cage. We've got the brackets on the top for our light bar. We have the spots in the front for our rock lights. Rather than a clip design for your battery tray, we have a pin to hold down this latch, but it's the same dimensions and overall design as the stock cage. I believe we can even fit in our interior. So when this thing is all put together, it's really going to look like a scale rock crawler, which I'm really looking forward to. So this came fully assembled from Furitek with the panels and everything bolted on. It comes with this hardware kit, which I'm assuming is basically just for your shocks. There's a couple smaller bolts in there. I'll have to see what those are for. So I'm imagining that the shock towers are not threaded, which would be similar to what the other titanium chassis kits that we have are set up. But overall, first impressions, very cool kit. It is a pricey chassis. It's $150, but very high quality chassis kit here. So I'm going to start transferring things over. I'm going to take all the bits and pieces off of the stock chassis here, and we're going to put it on this, and then we'll swap it onto the Capra. So I'm going to get to switching this around, and we'll circle back when this is installed. All right, guys, here we are. Got pretty much everything transferred over. I got the interior in there. Got the light bar on, rock lights, headlights, got my fuel cell in there. So it's pretty much ready to go on the rig. Just want to give you some of my thoughts here after the assembly process. So obviously with this kit, you get the awesome titanium frame. You get these gold titanium panels. A couple things that you don't get. Number one, the holes in the front where the rock lights would normally sink in are too small. So I had to mount the rock lights on the outside, flush against those holes, which gives it kind of a hammerhead shark look in the front, I feel. That's okay. The light bar at the top, how this light bar works, it has two small posts in the back that slot into the stock mount to kind of keep it firm and in place. You can see what I mean here. It's got these two positions. Just keeps the light bar from rocking back and forth. When you hit bumps and get jarred around, keeps it stationary. You don't get that. You get just the holes for the mount. So the light bar is in there, but those posts are kind of wedged against the brackets. You also don't get any type of solution for your wire management. So in the stock chassis, one of the things that Axial has done is integrated these loops and hooks inside the chassis. I don't know if you can see that, but kind of run up the tubes here through the top underneath the roof panel, and you run your light bar wires through there, and just gives it a nice clean, almost invisible look to it. So it's a built-in wire management solution. You do not get that with the Calian here. So what I had to do is take the roof panel off and run the wires between the cage and the roof panel, and then down through the back here. Again, not a big deal, but just pointing out some of these things here. What I am a little concerned about is that the titanium panels here are bolted on, but I feel like the bolts are too small, because what I'm experiencing already is that they're popping through. You see that? So the bolt is still attached to the frame, but my panel is popping off of it. And I noticed this on the roof when I went to retighten my roof panel. This bolt just kept slipping straight through, and my panel was just flopping around. So I'm going to have to go in the front here. I'm going to have to readjust this bolt and resecure my panel. So I'm going to do that now, and then I will bolt it up to the chassis, and we'll see what this thing looks like all together. So check it out. Here's the finished product. So now that I see it on the Capra, I really dig it. It's a very cool, hardcore looking kit. With the drivers in there and with everything hooked up, it looks like a legit garage-built rock crawler. The tubular titanium chassis with the titanium plates, the rawness and the industrial feel of it is just really, really cool. And I think the gold on the kit looks great with the purple wheels. So I'm pretty happy with the setup as it is. I love working on the Capra because it's so easy to swap chassis in and out. Just dump the skid out. There's only 4 bolts to drop the skid, and then the whole chassis comes. You just peel the chassis right off, plop the new one back on, and you're good to go. So it's a very easy switch. Putting this together, I noticed you do get a little more adjustability on the shocks. You've got 4 options for your shock mounting, front and rear, which gives you just a little bit more over stock, which has 2 holes. So I experimented with the mounting, just kind of push them in forward to see how that does. If we gain some more articulation, we'll see. Actually, I don't want to get too much because my tires are going to hit my rock lights right there. That's right on them. We'll see if I don't rip those off on the trail. In the front, battery fits perfectly in that little cage there. So that all worked. It's just like the factory cage, just all metal. So everything worked pretty well. I hate to keep coming back to things that you lose with this, but I noticed you lose your boat skids over the stock chassis. You see what we got. The stock chassis has those boat skids on the side, or underneath on the side there, to help you kind of rock and slide up over obstacles. But I missed my boat skids, honestly. That was one of the things I liked about the stock tub. As for the electronics, what I ended up doing was just kind of snugging them in next to the transmission over here and up against the driver's side door. So I hope they stay in there. I didn't secure them with any tape or anything. I just wedged them in there. There was enough room I could stick them in there pretty firmly. They don't feel like they're going anywhere. So hopefully they stay put and stay out of the way of the Outrunner motor. But everything is in there. I've got it all wired up. It's ready to go. So why don't we take this out and hit some rocks and see what it looks like in action. All right, guys, here we are at one of my favorite spots. I forgot my mic, so bear with me. I'm probably not going to talk a whole lot. And thankfully it's not super windy, but I'll probably just let the Capra do its talking for the most part. I'll jump in and out, or I might do a voiceover after this. But let's check this thing out in action. Sure looks cool out here in the wild with the purple wheels and the gold cage. Very, very cool.
Four-wheel steering opposite direction. Four-wheel steering identical direction.
Trail trophy number 1 right there. Look where he scratched up that nice titanium. We just ripped the band-aid off. Now we can go for it.
Four-wheel steering, four-wheel steering, identical direction.
I did miss the body, I gotta say. It looks really good with the cage back on it and the drivers. I also took off my Reef servos. I was running the Reefs Raw 500s on here. I felt like they were drawing too much power and shortening the thing out, so I put these Eco Power servos on here, and I almost feel like they draw as much, if not more, power and perform worse. So I might have to go back to the Reefs, but I took the Reefs off primarily because I wanted to use them for the 110. Final thoughts on the Furitek Calian chassis kit. Now, I've had this installed for about a week and a half now. I've put some significant time on it. And I'm glad I did, because initially I was a little disappointed in this kit. It's a pricey kit. For $150, it's more than half the cost of the build itself. So I had really high expectations. And I felt like the fit and finish of the kit itself, of the chassis itself, is amazing with the TIG welding and the titanium. Everything is great. But the way the panels are, and kind of the imperfections and how they were popping off and things, and losing some of the wire management, boat skids, the light mounting, those nitpicky things really kind of got to me initially. But the more time I've spent with it out on the rocks, the more I've really kind of grown to like it. It's got such a great scale, just cool look to it. The gold of the panels and the metal cage, seeing it out on the rocks doing its thing with the drivers in it, it just looks so cool. So it's really nice to have that scale look again, and it's even more scale now, I feel, because with the metal frame, it really looks like something that rolled out of the Rockstar garage. So it adds another element of scale realism and definitely ups the cool factor by leaps and bounds. Performance-wise, I didn't notice much over stock with this chassis. It's a light metal frame, but it's still heavier than the stock composite frame. So you do get a little more weight up top, but I didn't notice any detriment to performance. Now, I was coming from the titanium comp style chassis, which was an excellent performer. So I did sacrifice some performance going to this style cage over that one. But nonetheless, I think this is a very cool chassis kit. And if you're looking for scale realism, strength, and a high quality kit, this is definitely it. But you're going to pay for it. You know, it's a hefty price tag for this thing. So you've really got to look at what you want to do for your build. And this really scratches that itch for scale realism and overall quality and really just cool factor. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of this Calian chassis kit? And I'll put a link down below for this chassis kit. As of right now, it only comes in the gold finish, so I'll put the link down in the description for it if you want to check it out. As always, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will see you in the next video.